Okay, so I wanted to kind of finally show the bottom part of this on the inside of the fender well, since nobody's videos seem to show it. You don't have to take the fender liner out to get to the seal, or I'm sorry, the drain. And it just plugs right into that hole that you're looking at the bottom of this hose. So I'm going to do the silicone like most everybody else is doing. I also snipped the opening of the bottom of the drain nipple just a little bit more wide. This is typical of the Volkswagen drain. They always put this thing in there thinking that they're protecting it from stuff coming up inside, but it also is what catches debris coming down from the top, which is where your biggest problem is. Anyway, so fact is, on the MK3s that used to come out on the door sill, the factory fix was to go in and just snip the tip off of the little drain that drained down between the door and the front fender. So there's the bead of silicone that I put in. Now I'm going to go implant this into the hole in the above the fender, and then I'll stick the drain tube back in it. I put silicone seal around every single one of the connectors, both to the hose as well as to the drains that come from the panel roof rails. So there's the drain plugged into the hole. I don't know if I'll be able to film this portion of it while I put my hand back here. All right. Focus is going to be off, but I'm doing this lefty to righty, and I'm doing it kind of by braille and using my screen as my as my visual. So it's definitely a little on the braille side. Okay. All right, there you go. Comes down through that hole right here, up along here, and then as you can see, I put silicone on there and there. On two of my hoses, that little white collar had completely come loose. On the other ones, it was still attached. They do a little bit of a plastic soldering, and so it has a couple of points, and that's it. So you might be able to break them off if you're real gentle with it, so you can get a full bead of silicone around it. On the two that were both still connected, I stuck the silicone down the two sides that were still attached to squeeze it all the way in. This is the here on the front one is one that I was unable to get the thing fully loose. So I'll go in and I'll trim that excess around there, but I stuck the silicone tip down the two sides that weren't soldered. So you can see that little point there and that little point there, that where they solder that hose into it, but it ends up pulling away on the two edges on those two opposite there, and that's where the water comes through. Also, to clean out those hoses in the back, I took them all the way out into the house and ended up using my Camelback elongated bottle brush to clean them out, and the plugs in both of those were just horrific. So anyway, and then on this one in the front, I'm in the process of putting new derailleur cables on one of my bikes. So I don't know if I can get this into the screen here. There it is. Anyway, derailleur cable with kind of a flat plug on it. That went down there nicely. It's a little hard to get through, so I did a little bit of purple power down the front tubes with them out and shoved it down there a few times until it kind of pushed through. Anyway, hope that helps on the final parts that you don't normally see in people's videos. Okay, so I had this little syringe that I filled with kind of a Purple Power mix, stuck it down the drain tube, just kind of fed it through there. And then you can see it starts draining out over there behind the wheel. So, and just for the visual of it, I'm using this derailleur cable. Hopefully you guys can get a good visual on that. It's just a derailleur cable for a regular, multi-geared bike. It has a nice little flat thing on it. It turns nice and easy. Unfortunately, it gets really squirrely, so I have to two-hand it before it gets around those corners. But as you can see, I now have it flowing down in there super nice. It'll get down to that little point, and I'm not bothering to try and pull everything apart to try to get down to that drain point like on the back ones. But this one helped push through all the debris and everything like that. So anyway, hopefully this helps somebody. Okay, so on the driver's side, I haven't actually done the cable through it a few enough times. So I thought I'd show you the other part that I did is I used my Purple Power hose stuck down there probably about 1.5 feet. And then the the derailleur cable until it stopped, which I'm guessing is probably partially the little nipple barrier as well as some debris. So I'm going to push through some of this Purple Power and then kind of work it back and forth with the derailleur cable. Sorry, I don't have a filmer today, so I'm going to be doing this off and then on, then and off and then on. So and there's the dripping that is needed to show that you've got it cleared through there. I'll probably push through a couple more rounds of the Purple Power now that I got the derailleur cable to pop through the that little nipple. If you saw the other part of the video, I had snipped off the tips on the rears, and I won't be able to do that on this one unless I really dig in deep. And I hate taking those wheel well covers off. So this is going to have to do. And now that I've got the derailleur cable and have all the siliconed tips, I don't think I'll have much of a problem anymore.